Well, good night, and thank you to another interview of the Chill Dude in the Couch. Tonight, I'm joined by the Puerto Rican death thrash metal band Zafakon. How are you guys?
Hey,
Hey, what up?
we're breathing.
Yes, that's good. So for everyone that's not aware, Zafakon last Friday released a surprise album called Aftermath. And I did a review on it because I was pleasantly surprised when I saw that there was a new album. And it really kicks ass. So I really want to go deeper and talk about Aftermath because I thought it was a very interesting album. Something that stood out for me on the album was the lyrics, especially when I read the lyrics for Aftermath. Reading the lyrics, I interpreted like it could be interpreted to what happened after Maria, but living in Puerto Rico, we know that Puerto Rico has gone through so many things. It could be about earthquakes, it could be about COVID, it could be about the fucking corrupt government. So you never know. All of that could be there. So what is Aftermath, the song, about?
Yeah, that was, I don't want to say fortunate because there's like a lot of bad stuff that happened, but originally, like the song, the concept, everything was about Hurricane Maria, the storm per se. And it was kind of like describing I guess you could say the scenery that I saw in the island, describing how it smelled of death. I don't know if you guys remember, but
I remember.
You would go down the highway and open the windows, and it would smell like dead animals and stuff, and it was crazy. But yeah, eventually all this other bad stuff happened, and the song kind of applies to it too. So
I know that's what when I was reading the lyrics, like it could be about Hurricane Maria, but wait, there's more.
Yeah.
There's more things that happen in Puerto Rico, so it can be about a lot of things. But I really thought like the lyrics on the album, obviously, I think there's like sort of a running theme in the album. To you guys, what is the main theme that ties all the songs in Aftermath?
Well, I can tell you lyric wise, it is the I guess you could say darkest, for better lack of a word, the darkest album lyrically that we've done. It's pretty much introspective. I was going through it basically, and most of the songs on this album are basically what I was feeling through that time. It's the most personal album that I've written in the lyrics. The only song that I didn't write was The Remnant, was written by Ian, but also with the same kind of theme, kind of sad and all that despair, so it ties in pretty well.
Yeah, another, you mentioned The Revenant. Something that a song like The Revenant and Burning Black have is some clean vocals that the band had never done before. Was this something that you guys wanted to do in Zafakon, or was it like met with like I don't know, clean vocals with Zafakon don't mix?
Well, I could tell you that right before the album was shipped, like to send it for mastering and mixing, we were debating if we were actually gonna include those vocals or not. Like we were I recorded those vocals with JD too, and we were very, very self-aware about them, because when you record vocals and when you record anything, it's not like the finished product. When you hear a finished product, it goes through production. The person, they mix you well, they work for your voice. But when you're recording raw to listen to yourself, you're like, damn, I want these vocals. I think this is a good melody, but I'm a really bad singer. So what are we gonna do about it? But then we stood our ground and we found the confidence we needed to, let's just do it. And I've seen that the reception has been mostly positive. I mean, just positive. Like people have been complimenting the vocals and they say, hey, that's really cool. I like that the band is now exploring that direction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
no.
you know, I've never understood why people are so afraid of clean vocals in metal. You know, when metal started in the 80s, there were clean vocals. You know, it's called singing. There's nothing bad about it. You know, like you don't have to be like hard or guttural all the time. I think those clean singing with Marcus, like great delivery, because Marcus in this album, it's like you're spitting those the songs out, and they turned great. And I think the cleans with Marcus vocals like complement each other. It's like a yin and yang of, you know, like the evil sounding with the melody. And I think those when I was listening to the album at first, I listened to the clean vocals. I'm like, yeah, this, you know, they sounded good and they complemented the songs. They didn't feel forced at all, at least to me.
Yeah, you know, I remember when we recorded the vocals, we were, as Jan said, apprehensive for a moment because neither him nor I are used to doing these type of vocals, clean vocals. I did some screams on, I think, Apotheosis as well. And Jan also did some gutturals. But when we were adding these melodic vocals, as he said, we were, you know, are we going to pull it off? Maybe not. After the long wait for the album, all the things that we've said were going, you know, haywire in our island. It was like, is this the moment to push this far, the envelope? But as he said, we got the confidence to do it, and I think they turned out good. And the band has always progressed, and I think that was a next step that I'm glad we took in the long run.
Yeah. Obviously, you being the new element in the band, the new bass player, how did that new member influence the sound of Zafakon when you went into the recording space?
I just do my thing. Jan, I mean, when you hear those riffs, Jan just kills it. He always kills it. And as you said, Marcus, I think, slayed the vocals. And so it was just easy for me when they give you that great material, just to put your little stamp on it. So I did the bass tracks, you know, and then kind of put my sound in it and my parts. But I think the album was killer.
He's being modest though. Like he's being modest right now. He really brought it. Like he didn't have to go that hard. And you know, I was blown away by JD's performance in the album. So I don't know. I think you're underselling that. That was really good work, man.
Likewise.
Everyone was on point, and something that I liked about this album was there's some killer solos on it, especially on a song like Burning Black, where you use the solo to end the song. I thought that was a really ballsy move to have like a classic rock sounding solo ending the song, and it ended that song so beautifully, because the song is before that is all the way thrash, very hard, and then you go into that solo, and like I said in my review, it's a solo that it's not like a super yingy mouse thing. Look at me, I can play super fast kind of solo. It really like complements the song, and you hear the feeling, like it's like the guitar is talking to you. Was that something that they want to do with that song? Yeah.
There are, when you make an album and when you listen to an album, I don't want to say cliches because that has a negative connotation. Well, there are some tropes. There are some tropes that you always want to play into. And we did explore that trope, you know, the super long, emotional classic rock guitar solo trope in Release. But we wanted more of that because people loved the song Release. And I think
I remember that.
I mean, we have to sit down as a band and discuss, like, is Release still our collective favorite song? But at the time it was. So when we were writing Burning Black, it just came up, you know, like, hey, we're really cool to have like a Pink Floyd style, you know, a Rush, you know, it's pretty much a homage to La Villa Strayato, the solo. If you compare the two songs, you're gonna see like, this is.
Yeah, now I gotta listen to that song and compare.
Yeah, this is definitely a trope. This is definitely a trope. But
I just want to say that solo is my favorite moment in the whole album. Like, I've said it before to you guys, but I think that is just the highlight of the album is that solo.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite solos in the catalog. But there are a lot of great ones, but you killed that one. That's classic alto solo. It just builds and builds. It's great. That's killer.
No, it's great. And another thing that obviously when you did release, you started to dabble a little bit in prog, but in this album you said fuck it and you went like full prog. Especially like the highlight song to me is the ending song, The Pale. To me, that is the best song you've ever written as a band. I was reading the lyrics of it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when I'm listening, The Pale is from the point of being of people thinking that they're very important, and then something from outside says like, no, you're a speck, you're a pale, and in comparison to the whole universe being so big. So I thought is that what the song is about?
Yeah, and in the grand scheme, it is about, because again, running with the whole pessimistic theme of the lyrics in the album. But that specifically was inspired by the Pale Blue Dot. I don't know if you've heard about the Pale Blue Dot, which is the Voyager took the picture of planet Earth, and it just looks like a little tiny dot in the middle of the universe. And I don't know, that just got me like thinking, we think so much of what we're doing, and we give importance to these things, and when it comes down to it, we're so tiny, we're so small. Like right now they're blowing each other up on the other side of the world. And but in the grand scheme of things, like, what are you doing? We're a tiny planet, so yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, and that's happening, and there's people over here bitching and complaining about the gasoline when there's people being dropped bombs on their houses, and you're complaining about paying more for gas. Like, come on, fuck you. Like, just pay a little bit more or drive less.
Exactly.
But yes, that I thought that song was great, and obviously, Another Night Survived. It's many songs that obviously it sounds like an apocalypse is happening, and everything that you need to do to go through it. Obviously, there's lots of thrash in the album as well, which I think is a well-rounded album. So when you were producing Cancer of the Mind, when I was reading that one, is that a song that's talking about religion?
So you could say that, but the song is actually speaking from the perspective of Charles Manson in jail. Really? Yeah, it's Charles Manson speaking. I guess you could say, not that he ever said this or anything, it's just me playing with what he would be thinking, seeing like what the world is right now, because he used to predict that there was gonna be all this conflict and the fall of society and all of that, and it's basically what he would say, watching everything just crumble like he said it would. And it's not like agreeing with Charles Manson or anything. It's more like just kind of like fun, like kind of murder mystery, get in the mind of the insane person. I like doing that a lot, watch a lot of murder mystery. And final part, the part with the blast beats in the song, if you read those lyrics, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, that's not even a sentence, but it's actually a direct quote from Manson from one of his interviews before he did one of his little dances.
What did he say? I can't remember. What did he?
It says, if I am me and I am you, then you am I, or no, I messed myself up.
If I am me, then I am you, and you are. It's just fucking gibberish.
Yeah.
Like when we were recording like the draft vocals, like, okay, how would this part go? It was like I had to read them because I cannot memorize that shit.
I mean, I'm forgetting right now. Like, we haven't played it in a while, so I'm forgetting right now.
You guys talking about that now? That was the only song that I said, like at the end, it felt like it had gone on a little bit with more soloing. But now that you're explaining the end, it makes sense that it ended abruptly because like you just want to shut him up. So now I understand that ending.
It's just the insane person just on a outburst.
Yeah, now I can understand. I was reading the lyrics. I would have never thought that was about Charles Manson, but it makes sense because he was he wasn't a religious guy, but it was sort of a
He was a
cult. So
cult leader.
it's kind of a religion, you know, people
Yeah.
followed him. So
Yeah.
it's kind of that. So so what was what was your favorite song on the album? And you know, each member can say which one was his favorite and why.
All right, I'll start. My favorite song in the album this is hard because I really like this album. Like I like mostly all the songs, but the one that I always feel, you know, like I want to rage and stuff is the Pale. Like I agree with what most people have been saying. Like I love the Pale. That song is an epic for sure. And it's not like to toot our own horn or anything, but I really enjoy listening to it. Like I am, anyone who knows me knows that I am, you know, pretty, I don't like to boast, but it's a good
you're
song.
a real,
Pretty pale.
yeah, talking to you always, you're very down to earth, like,
Oh, thank you.
very down to earth guy, you know, that doesn't, you know, there's guys that are flashy, but no, you're very down to earth and you just go, you do your shit and you go.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, the Pale favorite moment, like I said, is the solo from Burning Black.
Yeah. No, that solo is amazing. But yeah, the Pale, it's a very sci-fi song. When I was listening to it, I felt a lot of like boy band like influences with the sci-fi, you know, and you know, boy band with the weird elements and stuff. So how about you, JD? What was your favorite?
I mean, I got a lot of favorite moments. I would agree with the Pale because it's just such an epic song, and you know it builds up and it has the heaviness, the melodic side with the guitar parts and all that. I gotta give a shout out. Cancer of the Mind is probably one of the most difficult things I've had to play because it's pretty relentless, and when you're doing all that, matching the guitar riffs on a fretless bass and that was pretty intense. I loved playing that. Very fun. Another Night Survived. I like the sludgy feel. It's almost like a Morbid Angel song where the slime lives or something like that. And I really dig that. The balance between the songs. Of course, we said the solo in Burning Black. That'll be a recurring theme because we're all very proud of that one. But overall, yes, I would say the Pale because it just has all the elements in one, and I think it's a great start. For, you know, it's everybody's loved it, and there's a reason for that. it's a pretty great song. So I could say a few numbers or moments, but overall, I would say the Pale as well.
Okay. What about finally, Jan?
Right. So again, I would have to agree with my friends here that I would like to talk about like highlight moments of the album for me.
Yes, please.
In the Aftermath song, I really like the transition between the solo and the ending part. That the acoustic guitar comes back on. Like, man, you can just imagine that we've heard those songs a billion times, you know, before you guys have heard it.
No,
So
I'm sure.
Some of us, I don't know about these guys, but I did get fatigued from it. Even before it released, it was like, oh god damn it!
Dude,
Let me listen to it again.
Like a Spinal Tap moment.
Yeah,
like, we need to go harder. Go to 11.
So when I listened to it on Spotify when it came out, I tried to listen it from the perspective of a fan, and I got chills in that part. You know, when the acoustic guitar comes back on right before the outro. I think that's one of my favorite moments in the album, and it hits really hard. Other moments that we haven't really talked about, definitely Another Night Survived. That song was another risk too, because it's such a mid-paced song. You could probably say, you could consider it maybe like a groove metal song if you really think about it, you know, because we have like kind of a Gojira thing going on with it, with the thumpiness and all of that. So it was kind of a risk, but I'm really proud of it too. I really like the breakdown in Apotheosis. I think it's very powerful. And obviously the Pale, I'm just, you know, the transition between Ink Ribbon and the Pale, I love how, you know, the quiet song goes into the epic one, you know.
It just goes, I call that song like it's like a palate cleanser.
Right,
you're
right.
you're
Yeah,
you're chilling before the
yeah.
pail comes and rips.
And it's a fun fact. Even though the song has no lyrics, it does have a subject, and it's that because Ink Ribbon, if you've played the Resident Evil games, have you played the Resident Evil games
Oh my,
before, Hector, or not a
I
gamer?
yeah, I was more into BioShock actually.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. But the older Resident Evil titles, they had like these safe spots, and you would record the game with an ink ribbon. So
Oh,
when you entered the safe spot, nothing could hurt you, and it had like this mysterious yet soothing music playing. So we called it ink ribbon as a homage to it, and because we wanted to give the same feeling of, the song before it, The Revenant, is an extremely hard song, like lyrically, thematically, musically, and obviously the Pale, is a very hard song too. So you have this little song here that's like the safe spot before you go and fight the boss battle. Like that's how we like to imagine it.
that makes sense. Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes total sense. So I want to show obviously the picture of the album for people that haven't seen it. I think almost everyone has seen it now. So yeah, I love this artwork. Who worked on this artwork for this album?
Yeah, so that was done by Giannis Nakos from Remedy Art Design in Greece. He's done most of our artwork since War is a Drug. So he's our go-to guy.
No, it's an amazing, and I think the color that you use for this one, I remember the last one, it was green, but this looking like you can see the hand and the destruction. I think it really goes well with the themes that go throughout the whole album. So yeah, it's a really killer artwork. So something that I want to talk about, like one last question before I let you guys go, because I think we really talked about the album, which is what I wanted to do. I remember JD's first show in the Lucky Irish pub. I think that show was a great, because it was like one of the first shows that we had after Hurricane Maria. And it was just such an amazing show because there was no drama. Everyone just came to have such a great time. And you gave that to the fans. That's a night that I will never forget, because after so many days, shitty days, like I think that was like a month after Maria, right? When it was like, was it October 31st?
Yeah, I think it was October, last week of October, if I remember.
Yeah, I just remember that it was at 12, and it was a great release. Everyone went to, and I have a funny story about that concert. So my wife, she's not a metalhead at all, and she thinks every band sounds the same. So I went like, I want to go see Zafakon, and she was like so bored. She's like, I'll go too. I'm like, okay, come. So she comes with me. We go see the show, and after the show ends, we're in the car driving back home, and she tells me like, so Hector, why do they have a song about a Molten? And I'm like, what? That song where they're like, yeah, double fucking Molten. And I'm like, you mean summoning the vortex? And she's like,
oh my God,
she's like,
I'm
why
never
do they
gonna
have a
hear
song
that.
about Molten? And I remember when that happened, I told JD,
That's the
my
new-
wife thought that summoning the vortex was about a Molten from Chili's.
That's the new song title for sure.
Yeah,
Double fucking Molten.
Double
we're a
fucking
bunch-
Molten. Yeah.
We're a bunch of fat fucks here in Zafakon. We like to eat.
But-
We love
Molten.
We love Molten. So let's
Yeah.
go with that. Let's call it like that.
Yeah,
Double
before I was talking to
fucking-
Jan, he wants to be sponsored by Cracker Barrel.
Oh yeah.
Hit me up, Mr. Cracker Barrel.
Yo, hook me up, dude.
So yeah, that show, that was such a funny story that I had to tell it. But that show was really a great show, and I think it was a release that everyone needed after Maria. And I'm just glad that you guys were able to release this album after 8 years, because I know that with everything that's happened in Puerto Rico, it must have been like a real pain in the ass to like put everything together and release it. So
I'm sorry to interrupt.
no.
A fun fact about that show, my first show with them, as you know,
Yeah.
and since the hurricane and all this, as you said, it's one of the first shows that happened after that, and I didn't see the guys after my audition, which was 3 songs. Well, I saw Jan maybe a few days, but I literally the day before the show we went to the drummer's house, and he played on a seat and played with his drumsticks on his drum stool and hitting the floor with his feet. Marcus didn't sing, and there were two 45-minute sets that I had to learn, and
I remember.
full band rehearsal or anything. It was just like a trial by fire, and I had to learn it all. And I actually missed the Summoning the Vortex, and they're like, no, this was on the list. And like, shit. So I had to go, and that night, which I stayed in San Juan, and learned the song so I could play it the next day. But I remember that aside from
Hey, if anyone could do it.
Yeah, but I remember people asking for more songs, and Marcus was like, "Hey, he's new, like give him a break."
Yeah.
Like
like,
everyone was like, "More songs, more songs."
No rehearsal, no full band rehearsal. It's like I did pretty good, but it was really fun to get up on stage. You know, aside from being the first show, it was one of the first shows, my first show with them, one of the first shows after the hurricane. So you could feel the energy and the love of all the people that needed that release. So it was great.
Yeah, it was an amazing show. I think everyone loved it. So for people that still haven't gotten the album, I know they can get it physically in a few stores or buy it online. Where can they get the Aftermath album?
So if they want it digitally, they can buy it through Bandcamp. If you want a physical copy, you can talk to the local stores that are distributing the album for us, which are Odin's Court in Caguas, and the other one is Ojo de Tigre in Santurce. And that's how we're managing our physical copies for now. Nice.
So again, guys, I want to thank you for taking some time to talk to me. Anyone who hasn't heard Aftermath should do it. It's an amazing album. You can also watch the review I did from it. So until next time, this is the Shield doing the couch, and I'll see you next time right here on the couch.
Man.
Thank you and good night.